Hey everybody, Doug here. Welcome back to yet another board game channel and yet another round of Sentinels of the Multiverse. We're still just barely holding on against Baron Blade. I don't know how, because we are all very low on our XP, but we don't seem to be losing the last few points. So we'll see how far we can last. Before we get into it, last episode mistakes were made. I forgot a couple of things. First thing, I forgot that I had put FANATIC's Divine Focus into play, intending to discard some cards to do a little bit more damage to Baron Blade. I was going to discard, well, I would have ended up discarding two. One during the environment turn and one during Baron Blade's turn. So we're going to trash those, and it would have done normally two for each, but because of his force field, just one for each. So that'll be two, knocking him down. He is down to 13. Next thing I forgot was, again, with FANATIC, I forgot about her Undaunted, which, whenever exactly one damage would be dealt to FANATIC, prevent that damage. That's what happened with the Apprentice Poisoner. It does just a single point, which she can ignore. So she's back up to a whopping 3 points. And the last thing I forgot was, yes, I again forgot Parse's updated intel, where we get to look at the bottom card of a deck whenever a villain card enters play. It did happen with the Elemental Redistributor. We're going to stick with looking at the bottom to see if another target comes up on the Temple of Zhulong to stop, stop them from, oh, okay. So, Shinobi Assassin, we're going to put that on top. That means that the Mysterious Ceremonies is not going to force us to encounter an extra card during the next environment phase. Okay, I think that was everything. So we'll now get into the proper play. We're going to go to Mr. Fixer. Okay, Mr. Fixer has no start of turn effects. So he's going to play a card. He's going to play this toolbox. A quote from Mr. Fixer from Engine Block Blues. A toolbox is not a toy. When this card enters play, draw two cards. And at the start of the next turn, we take it back in. It's a lovely way to get some extra cards. So we're going to put that down there. Draw two cards. Another Bloody Knuckles. Oh, the dual crowbars are nice. We might replace our pipe wrench with that, because it lets us attack two things. It still increases damage by one, and that damage ends up being +2 on the second target, because it's +1 to the previous damage. Anyway, if I play it, we'll see it in action. So that's card. Now power. We are, of course, going to use our strike and do 1, 2, 3, 4 damage to Baron Blade, -1 from his living force field. But that actually knocks him down to 10. We may successfully make it to the halfway point of the game. And then we draw a card. Meditation, that lets us put any other style card into play. I think we'll leave that be for now anyway. Okay, that's it for Mr. Fixer. Now it's Parse's turn. Alright, Parse is going to play her data mining again. It's not going to help us with villain ongoing cards because it's only the one. However, if there are two or more environment cards in play, you may destroy one of them. We are going to destroy the Resurrection Ritual card in order to prevent the powered remote turret from coming back. Unfortunately, that gets us a little closer to Blade pulling the moon down on us because it goes into his trash pile. But just gonna check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, if we get 2 more cards in there before he flips, we're gonna lose. But we don't want that turret to come back. It's just going to keep hurting us and whittling us down. So that's the card play for her power. She's just got her pinpoint shot, so she's going to do 2 -1 to Blade, and he's down to 9. I'm down to 9. Can we do this? And then she will draw a card, the critical multiplier, which I've got to find a way to get into play. There's just been so much other stuff that we need to do first. Okay, Fanatic's turn. Now, I did not want to discard Fanatic's last card to do damage to Baron Blade with the Divine Focus. What we're going to do is, at the start of your turn, Fanatic may deal herself 4 fire damage. If she does. If she doesn't take damage this way, destroy this card. Well, we're going to destroy the card because that would take her out. She's going to play her last card, her Divine Sacrifice. Face me and tremble. Fanatic deals up to 3 targets, 1 irreducible, so Living Force Field won't count, radiant damage each. And yes, his elemental distributor will not do anything about that. Direct damage by those damage dealt by those targets is redirected to Fanatic until the start of your next turn. So everything that Blade does, and as it turns out, the Apprentice Poisoner will redirect to her. That's not bad when it comes to the Poisoner because, as I pointed out at the beginning, this will prevent those 1 damage each from the Poisoner. Her Undaunted, she doesn't care. So we're going to do a damage to Blade. 1 to the Apprentice Poisoner. Also 1 to the Elemental Distributor, which doesn't do any direct damage to us anyhow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just kind of hoping that Blade won't do a whole lot of damage that gets redirected to Fanatic. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Alright. Now, for her power, she is, of course, going to use Absolution. We're going to stick with Radiant, because it won't cause anything bad to happen to us. We shall do 3 -1 to Blade. We actually have him down to 6 HP. Alright. Yeah, so that is going to be it for... Oh, no, wait. She gets to draw a card. Brutal Censure. Okay, she'll get to do a little bit of damage and draw an extra card. That is all for Fanatic. Now on to the Temple of Julong's turn. Okay, start of environment turn. Reveal the top card. If it's a target, which we know it is, we get to discard it. It does not come into play. Now we will play a new card. Oh, and we got another Apprentice Poisoner. Which means, unfortunately, Parse is going to end up taking a teensy bit of damage. So that one's not going to redirect. Okay, end of turn. Right, a player may either draw 3 cards or play 1. If no cards are drawn or played this way, destroy this card. Well, let's take an opportunity to... Let's finally... I keep wanting to put one of these into play, the critical multiplier. Of course, then we've got to actually find a way to discard cards. But we may get to. Because this could be terribly useful if we can manage to get it to work. Ongoing, whenever you discard a card from hand, select a hero target, increase the next damage dealt by that target by 1. And our quote from Parse, from an issue of Freedom 5, adjustments here and there, they add up. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into play. Because why not? Okay. Now, the first Apprentice Poisoner is going to do, deals the 3 non-environment targets with the lowest HP 1 toxic damage each. That's going to be all 3 of our heroes. They are all going to redirect to FANATIC, who's going to ignore them because of her Undaunted. The other Apprentice Poisoner is going to do the same thing. Parse will take 1 damage because that one does not redirect. Again, FANATIC gets to ignore it. And Mr. Fixer has reduced 1 damage. So Parse is down to 2. We might end up losing her. But it depends a lot on what comes up. Now that it is Baron Blade's turn again. Okay, start of his turn. Well, we already counted that, and we're up to 13. So now we are going to play a card. Oh, it's another Living Force Field, which is both good and bad, in that it doesn't go right into the trash, making the moon come closer. And it's not something that's going to damage us all, but it does mean he's going to be harder to hit now. Yay! Okay, there are actually no end of turn effects. None of these cards actively do anything to us. So that is it for Baron Blade's turn. Let's move back to Mr. Fixer. Okay, start of Mr. Fixer's turn. We will return the toolbox to our hand. Then we are going to play the dual crowbars. Equipment tool. Whenever Mr. Fixer deals damage, he may deal that damage to 1 other target as well. Increase damage dealt by Mr. Fixer by 1. When this card enters play, return any other tool cards in play to your hand. So that means the pipe wrench will go back in as we play crowbar. It means we lose our -1 damage taken, which is too bad. And yeah, that's it for playing the card. Now we are going to actually use those crowbars. I'm going to use Fixer's Strike. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 damage, not to Blade. We are instead going to do, let's say 1, 2, 3. Going to do 4 damage to the Elemental Redistributor, because we can do a whole 4 damage. That's the first one. Now we get to do how much damage to another target. However, we're doing 4 plus 1. And I know that's the way it works because that's how it works in the app. And they know and it's developed by the people who develop the game, so they know the rules right. Which means we're actually going to do 5, still -1, but it's going to be 4 damage. That knocks Blade down to 2. Yeah, I did the redistributor so I could actually do an entire 4 damage. If I just did it on one of the others, it wouldn't. One of the poisoners, it wouldn't have done as much, and they would just hit us anyway. Okay, then Strike. Or not Strike, Mr. Fixer, who used the Strike, gets to draw another card at the end, and oh boy, more Bloody Knuckles. That's 3 Bloody Knuckles in our hands. None of which we want to use, given the way things are right now. Okay, that is that for Mr. Fixer. Now on to Parse. Okay, Parse. He is going to use, because with that second living force field, Blade's now really hard to hit, so we are going to use Reveal the Flaws. Ongoing, damage dealt by hero targets is irreducible. Yeah. We're going to be able to hit without, well, we're going to be able to hit, period. At the start of your turn, destroy this card. There, run to the center. It's now or never, says Parse in Freedom 5 Annual number 29. So she played a card. Now she's going to use her power, which does 2 projectile damage to a target. And we're going to do that to Blade. Baron only had 2 HP, which means we're going to go over to the villain area for a moment as things happen. Alright, when Baron Blade would be destroyed, which he would because he's down to 0, flip Baron Blade's villain character cards instead. So he goes from being the Terra Lunar Impulsion Beam Inventor to Vengeful Mad Scientist. So what do? When flipped to this side, restore Baron Blade to 30 HP. So he's feeling much better, unfortunately. But now we don't have to worry about the moon crashing into the earth. Then put the villain trash on top of the villain deck. Put all 3 copies of the mobile defense platform into the villain trash. Shuffle the villain deck. And what else? At the end of the villain turn, Baron Blade deals the hero target with the highest HP, in our case 3 energy damage, the H being number of heroes. So we've made it to this point anyway. But I'm pretty sure things are not going to go well once he starts hitting us. Alright, so we take out, I believe there are 3 of them. Right, his mobile defense platforms all go into the trash. And we shuffle the deck and start over with everything except that. So, as that means we go back to Parse and finish off her turn. And the end of her turn is simply drawing a card, and it's another Reveal the Flaws. I just realized I'm pretty sure Parse is going to die during the environment phase. Yep. Okay. Anyway, pretty sure this is unwinnable anyhow, but we'll see what happens. Moving on to FANATIC. Alright, FANATIC. Well, she has an easy choice. She's only got the 1 card. Brutal Censure, know the error of thine ways, she says from her own comic. One shot. FANATIC deals 1 target 2 radiant damage, and you may draw a card. So yeah, she's going to do some irreducible damage to Blade, putting him down to 3, putting him down to 28. And she gets to draw a card. Oh, and it's another Brutal Censure. Now, she will use a power. She's going to use Absolution to do 3 still irreducible damage to Blade. He's down to 25 over there. And to conclude her turn... Oh, gee. I swear this was a shuffled deck, and somehow all of the Brutal Censures ended up together. Oh, it happens. Okay, yeah, this next bit is worrying. This is where we're going to start losing heroes onto the temple. Before we do that, guess what I forgot to do when that living force field showed up again. I forgot about the updated intel once more. So we're going to run out of targets eventually. Okay, no, that goes on top. It's another target. Okay. Back to the proper environment turn. So start of environment, reveal top card of the deck. It's a target, so we get to discard it. But we do have to play the next card, which is Master of the Temple. Before their very eyes, the man burst into celestial red flames, but he did not burn. Instead, he shed his human form for one much more terrifying. Right, the true form is back. That's not good. Right, search the environment deck and trash. Yeah, it's in the trash. Put the true form into play. Let's move that over. Shuffle the environment trash into its deck. Go. Then the true form deals each non-environment target 1 toxic and 1 radiant damage. So that's going to be 2 to everybody except FANATIC, who gets to ignore the 1 and 1. And yes, we lose Parse right there. Then destroy this card. Alright, we're just going to get rid of that. Before I forget, we will give the true form its 13 HP. So yes, FANATIC ignores the 1/1. Mr. Fixer takes 2 because he doesn't have his pipe anymore. He's down to a single point. Before I do parse, I'm going to do, it says all of the non-environment, so that includes Baron Blade and his elemental redistributor. So the distributor's down to 3. Right, and Blade blocks it because of his living force field. The terrible part is Parse has got 2 HP, so she is gone, which means we're going to get rid of the cards she had in play, and her hand, and her deck, and everything. And she flips over to her incapacitated side. So she does have 3 things that she can do, even though she's kind of out of the game. On her turn, one player may draw a card, or one player may shuffle their trash into their deck, or reveal the top card of the villain deck and then replace it, so we can see what's coming up next. I don't know if we're going to make it that far. Because now more bad things are going to happen. Okay. End of turn. One player may either draw 3 cards or play 1 card if no cards are drawn that way. Okay, we're going to have... Okay, we're going to take a chance here and have FANATIC draw 3 cards. See if... No, there's her armor that lets her recover from death. Get her up to 10. That'll be nice if we can get it into play. On the other hand, I was really hoping for End of Days, which would just wipe out all of Blade's and the environment stuff, as well as ours, but that still would reset everything else. Now, the first Apprentice Poisoner. Well, FANATIC gets to ignore that, because again, they're just ones. On the other hand, Mr. Fixer. Yeah, it's going to be the 3 targets with the lowest HP, which means it's also going to hurt the Elemental Redistributor. Not a big deal. So all of Mr. Fixer's stuff goes away. He is now incapacitated as well. On his turn, we have 3 options. Select an equipment card in a hero trash and put it into play. One player can draw a card or destroy an ongoing card. Now, the next Apprentice Poisoner gets to go. It'll do... Well, there are only 3 targets left. Blade ignores it. The Elemental Distributor takes a hit, and FANATIC ignores it. Then, let me remind myself of what horrible things the True Form does. At the end, deals the non-environment target with the second highest HP. Second highest. Yep, that's FANATIC. 3 radiant damage and 3 toxic damage, which she cannot block. Which means, yeah, FANATIC is incapacitated. Whoops. Doesn't matter what special things she can do because, yeah, we just lost. Can't believe we held on as long as we did, though. Let's zoom out and wrap up. Well, there we go. Blade's probably gloating. On the plus side, we managed to stop him from actually pulling the moon into the Earth, because we got him to flip. But then, yeah, he beat the tar out of us. So, moral victory? Eh, maybe. Yeah, I think I got kind of unlucky with the backlash field showing up so early and hammering us every time that we did damage that we needed to do to prevent him from filling up his trash and auto-winning. Yeah, I got nothing else. Yeah, that kind of did me in, and probably some bad gameplay choices as well, which can happen. In this game, you get a little overwhelmed, and you forget how to interact things. You don't see far enough ahead, like the fact that on that last environment turn, even without the True Form showing up, a couple of our people were going to go down anyway. So, saved the world, but did not defeat the villain entirely. Well, let's see what we do next time. Don't know what I'm going to play next. I usually don't. But we'll see. Hope you'll join me then. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel and liking the videos both on YouTube and Board Game Geek. I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time for yet another board game playthrough. So long.